I'm checking on a big system that we put in. We had a really big collection system. It had catch basins and a French drain. We were trying to take care of all these low points where water would sit. It basically flood acres. We had over 18 inches of snow. We didn't have a thaw for more than 2 months, so the snow just kept piling up. We've been really warm this week. Finally having a pretty good thaw. And today we got some rain along with the warmer weather. So normally in here, this would all be a lake. But we have a French drain and a yard drain combined. I got video of us installing this. I did a full installation video. You can see the grate's doing its job. There's leaves that are on the grate. So we have several catch basins throughout. We put them in all the really low points, the lowest points. That way, it would work just like a bathtub. You can see how the water finds these low points. They find all the grates that we put in. Here's another one. Look at this. The water runs under the snow. When snow melts, water don't run on top of snow. Everybody worries about pop-ups working, catch basins working. Don't worry about it. When everything thaws, the water finds it. As long as you built it proper, you got slope, you got your catch basins and all the low points. This system's moving water. So all that water that used to be in all these low points, there would just be these large ponding areas throughout this property. We took it to a dry well. We had a discharge line on knife cut. We have an open French drain for a discharge line. The knife cut's going to move the water quick, but it can still take in water too. So that discharge line is doing two things for you. So we went to a dry well. We dug a hole that was 7 feet deep. We only freeze, down, probably 40 inches. We're supposed to put all our footings in at 42 inches to get below the frost. So everything's code in this part of Michigan, 42 inches deep for footings. So this is the dry well. All that water is coming right to this low point. Now this is not the lowest point. All this water is flowing in this. See how this ditch bottom is deep? And then it's flowing through this shallow swale, little bit, slight ditch, shallow swale, whatever you want to refer to it as. It goes down to a detention pond. But all this was methodically, thought out. I don't like my dry well to be in the lowest point, and I always want an overflow. You have to have a plan for your overflow when you're doing a dry well. So I loved it. We thawed out. This never froze solid. It just had slush on the top. I took the lid off in the winter. Just had some slush down there that formed. That was like in -7. But again, we were 7 feet deep with this. Look at that. That water's just carving through the ice and snow. People always worry about the thaw. My system's going to be froze. No, it's not. Not if you build it right. Subscribe to this channel if you live in the north, because everything we build works. We just had a massive thaw, and nobody's calling because their system's not moving. They see that the systems are moving water. At the discharge end of any of our systems, it's so evident the amount of water that they're moving. All right, we just had like a red cell come through. I wanted to show you what this looks like. So here's our dry well. And you know how we have those ports up top? Look at that. Look at that, guys. Look at that. Now, it's not raining. I'm standing here because we just had a... Look at this. All this water came out of this system that we put in. Now, we have the full video on this system. Look at that dry well. It was even more, and I had to run and go get my camera equipment. The water was the mushroom effect coming up out of those 4-inch full throttle grates. These are French drain man's full throttle 4-inch grates. We got 2 of them at the top of our dry well. That way, if all the holes that we drilled in it are not enough and it becomes overwhelmed, it overflows. You can see it's working as it was designed. The water's dropping so fast, it's mind-blowing. So we ran our system through every area that would hold and pond water. It starts way up there behind the office house. It was a big project that we took on because I got tired of the water hanging around. So even though this job didn't pay, because this is one of my properties, you know, we went ahead and put in a system. I wanted to show you guys the results. So we had 2 inches of rain that came so fast. I mean, it was coming down so hard, you couldn't drive. You had to pull to the shoulder of the road. So you get 2 inches, flash flood. Does the system work? Does the system keep up? This is a gravity-powered system. This is gravity. Look at this. This looks more like a landscape water feature, doesn't it? I mean, you would swear there's pumps. You'd think to yourself, there's got to be pumps moving this kind of water. I mean, I can't even begin to really guess how much water we're moving. I mean, okay, if I take the slope that we're on and what 2 corrugated pipes can move, I can do the math, and I could give you guys a good guesstimation that'd get us in the ballpark. Look at this. Look at this. It's starting to settle down now. Francisco and Valente, they dug out a really nice swale, put in a culvert, 100 feet of culvert pipe over there. Man, oh man, we are moving water. We are moving some serious water. And like I said, they're believe it or not, it was actually moving more water earlier, but right now it's trying to take it in. Now this is an open French drain. I'm going to show you something. Look at this. See what this open French drain's doing? You see all that water dancing? You see all that water moving? That water's flowing right through the stone, right into the French drain. Nothing moves water faster than an open French drain. That is just sick. The water's going in that dry well. Obviously, this dry well can't handle this kind of rain. It can handle a 2-inch rain that comes in 12 hours. It's not gonna, you know, a 2-inch rain that's just a flash flood. Well, that's just flood water. Look at that. You guys always want to see our systems working. No, it doesn't get any better than that. Gravity powered system, everybody. Gravity powered system. I have the full install video for this, showing everything we did. Man, oh man. That's 2 corrugated pipes going to a 7-foot deep dry well. And those 2 corrugated pipes are running wide open, man. They're running wide open. We're moving so much water. That's just crazy. You don't get to see this too often because it's all about timing. You got to be in the right place at the right time with your camera equipment. This is a flash flood. I was so tired of the water ponding behind our office farmhouse. Man, are we moving the water. That is just crazy, man. Just nuts. So this is, going to run for a while, obviously. It's got to catch up. That flash flood, it doesn't give water a chance for the ground to really take it in. Man, I love when a plan comes together. That is a beautiful system right there. Those 4-inch grates, they're not overwhelmed. They're not restricting the system in any way. Those 4-inch grates, that's why we call them a full throttle. We got 2 grates under that title, that category, that description. And yeah, that trademark. We got a full throttle 4-inch and a full throttle 6-inch. There's basically nothing there for grate. And it definitely flows 4 times the water of any other 4-inch grate and or 6-inch grate. Man, that's a beautiful sight right there. So we always build our dry wells and we set them up so that when they're maxed out, they're where they need to be for overflow. I mean, when you're laying out your design system, there's so much thought that really needs to go into play. I know people just dig a hole and put a dry well anywhere, but that's not really what you want to do. Man, that's beautiful stuff right there, man. Yeah, the guys did a great job. They did a really, really good job. They must have got it right. It's working pretty good. Yeah, that 2 inches of rain came fast, came quick. We don't typically get monsoons here in Michigan, but that would have fell in the category of a monsoon, for sure. Gravity. That's a gravity system. That's why you want slope on your system. Everybody says, oh, you don't need slope. Well, I agree. You don't need it. But the luxury to it is you're going to move water faster. You're going to evacuate the water from the premises much quicker if you build your system with slope. If you don't have the slope, you can put a pump system in. When you put a pump system in, you could put as much slope on it as you want. 1%, 1.5%, 2%, whatever your heart desires, because you're putting in a pump system. Now, of course, the more slope you put on it, the deeper you're going to be at the pump, so the deeper your sump pit will have to be. So there's a yielding threshold to everything. Man, that's a beautiful sight. That's a beautiful sight right there. This is a Michigan drain. Yard drain, French drain combination. Going to a dry well. Set up so that its overflow goes in a swale that heads down to a detention pond. Guys did a beautiful job. Everything is working as designed. What is it about running water? It's like staring into a campfire. You can just listen to it and watch it forever. So I'm always talking about pounds per square inch in downspout lines and discharge lines, building systems so that they have pounds per square inch. Well, you can see by the water coming up out of this dry well, there's like a mushroom of water, that there's definitely some pounds per square inch here, meaning this line is going to be clean. You don't want to oversize your line. I have so many people in the comments saying, I don't know if I should go up to a 6-inch system. The answer is 95% of the time, no. You don't want to go to a 6-inch system because it's going to mellow this flow down. The larger the area, the more mellow the water becomes because it spreads across the greater area, losing its energy, its pounds per square inch. In most cases, the 6-inch line will build up with sediment because it doesn't flow with enough pounds per square inch to push the debris through the system. So I like to even undersize my systems. If I'm sitting on the fence, I'm always going to go, all right, we're just going to max it out because the lines are going to be clean. They're never going to clog. And you can see this system was designed on 2 4-inch pipes. I'm really happy with my decision. It's doing just fine. We're moving a sick amount of water. I mean, this is just ridiculous. I mean, this is kind of like a small riverbed. It is just wild. That's 2 4-inch pipes. That's what you see here. 2 4-inch pipes sending all this water. This goes, you know, for probably 250 feet and gets deposited in a detention area, detention pond. I can leave the link to the full install video if you want to see the installation. If you're a new subscriber, you didn't catch that last year, this was a system we put in last year. Yeah, 250 feet of collection system. Now the entire discharge line was on knife cut. It was 2 4-inch knife cuts, and it's designed to take in water as well as leach water.
Here's one of the trick to the trades. We have a 200-foot distance between our collection system and our dry well. We're running 2 discharge lines. It's a big collection system. We're going to have our discharge line grabbing up surface water the whole distance that it's discharging the water. We ran knife cut instead of solid pipe so that we can do that. So let's break down this technique. When we have a 2-inch rainfall and we've been in a drought, we have 200 feet of leach line. Probably not even a drop of water is going to make it to this dry well. Now when we have a lot of rain, it's our rainy season, spring, fall, we're getting quite a few rains throughout the week. Maybe you're on your 3rd 2-inch rainfall of the week. There's going to be puddles in this field that we're trying to dry up. That leach line is going to work in reverse for you. It's going to take in the surface water.
So if it was a drought, it would charge the subsurface soil. If everything was as dry as can be, you wouldn't see no water coming out of here. because the leech line, you got 250 feet of system. That's basically 250 feet of dry well. Once the soil can't take in any more water, it'll finally make it to this monster 7-foot deep dry well. Now this was 30 inches round and 7 feet deep. That's a big dry well. But we've had so much rain as of lately, the soil was already fully charged. So the soil wasn't going to take any in. So the leech line acted as a discharge line. I mean, basically it's sending all the water. This is going to run for a little bit. This is probably going to run for another hour like this. Moving some water. So yeah, we've built a lot of systems over the years, and we know what they do. We don't necessarily need to go back to them to see that they do their job anymore, because we know our results are 100%. We've never had a dissatisfied customer, ever. There has never been a drain job that we couldn't solve. Look at that. All right, everybody. I'll leave the link to the install of this video. I'll leave a link to the entire system, the installation process, so that you can see what makes this thing go. If you like the content that I'm putting on YouTube, this educational content about drainage for free, give me a thumbs up. It really helps out the channel. I'm your host, Robert Sherwood, and until that next video.